Chris the king of nerds, pro wrestling he swerves, that's the moves he serves, living in the universe, ring the bell he's there, with that passionate flair, posters up every...
Hey, welcome back nerds. It's another What Am I Nerdy About, kind of a special What Am I Nerdy About, a little bit more of a big picture of what I'm into versus one little topic. So I got Fonte Flame.
Hey,
what's up, man? How you
what's
doing?
good with you, man? Chilling, man. You know, just chilling. Just got off of work. You know? Yeah.
So we got some wrestling stuff coming up with the AEW show, and then so you're heading out to Mania?
Man, I thought so. Bro.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if
It's
I'm
not gonna work
make
out.
it out. Yeah, I'm gonna see. Still trying to iron out some things, man. Gotta get some coverage, but the retail life. But we're gonna see. Hopefully, definitely gonna be watching it. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
What are the matches you're excited to see come Mania?
Oh, definitely have to check out pwtorch.com. Go to the opinion section. You can hear my top 5 things I'm looking forward to. A couple of things, not even the actual WrestleMania card. I always look forward to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, man, truly.
And the Bloodsport show every year.
Absolutely, bro. Good choice, man.
Yeah, so I always like watching the Bloodsport show.
Bloodsport's tight. They got Dragon Gate, part of the collective too. Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. Those are great to see. You know, you get the American audience something different.
Yeah.
You got Bloodsport. That's like I feel like the pinnacle WrestleMania weekend event. Like,
I love it,
besides Joe Janela Spring Break.
Yeah.
And
Effie's
both for
Big Gay
GCW.
Week, Big Gay Brunch.
Yeah, Effie's Big Gay Brunch. Yeah,
That's
all
always a fun show.
GCW.
Yeah.
All GCW. So they be popping on WrestleMania weekend. Shouts out the collective.
Yeah, so yeah, that'll be fun. And yeah, I don't know if we're gonna do nerd news this week. We got so much to cover today, but we have lost Chuck Norris since we last recorded. So we watched Sidekicks as a little tribute. You ever watch that movie?
Nah.
It was right after Karate Kid, when you got, you know, a younger teenage kid in high school looking to an older mentor, learning karate. And this is this asthmatic kid who learns karate, looks up Chuck Norris, and he fantasizes about going out on these adventures with Chuck Norris and like taking down the bullies and all that. So yeah, it's fun.
I feel that, man. I seen him in, you know, of course, Walker, Texas Ranger.
Big show.
And then the Bruce Lee movie he was in. Him and Bruce Lee fought.
Yeah.
Like, that was cool.
Yeah, and then he had a WWF appearance too, where he kicked Jeff Jarrett in the head.
Yeah, he sure did. That was great.
Yeah.
Especially Double J at the time. What a heel.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Ugliest dresser in the business.
Ugliest dresser. Yes, man. Yeah. So, man, I feel you. I'm looking forward to like
Oba Brock.
Oba and Brock.
I'm looking more for like, how does Brock sell, and how much does he give, and how does he put this guy over?
Yep. I feel you. How does he put the guy over? Because it's like, you're always curious with Brock. Like, he did it with Cody. I feel like Oba impresses Brock. You can see it when Brock looks at him. I'm not like Brock Lesnar fan or nothing, but it's exciting to see the potential of a match where like the dude actually cares. Yeah. So like, yeah, we're excited. I don't think this is going to be like Omos versus Brock Lesnar, but even that was like fun.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so
better than I thought it was going to be.
Truly, it was fun. You know, I think when folks are his size or bigger, he goes a little.
Yeah, I think McIntyre Fatu.
McIntyre Fatu is going to be tough.
Yep. And Stephanie and Liv, and then both the main events, both of the title matches.
Yeah, I think Punk and Roman is going to feed place for generations.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good match.
There's gonna be a lot of storytelling.
Nerdstalgia, Colorado Springs' hidden gem in the Citadel Mall. We carry whatever you're nerdy about, whether you're a music nerd, comic nerd, movie, or video games, and with the largest selection of pro wrestling merchandise in Colorado, we have the physical media, toys, and collectibles that will take you back to your past. We are open 6 days a week, closed on Wednesdays. We love seeing what you're looking to get rid of and offer cash or store credit. Stop by to let us know, what are you nerdy about?
Right.
Yeah, man.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, bro. So today, you wanted to kind of, we was gonna talk about what the origins of the shop.
I just thought I'd talk about, this week what I'm nerdy about is retail.
Yeah.
So, when you're in high school and you're trying to think of like, what do I want to do with my life? I contemplated pro wrestler. I contemplated musician. But neither one of those are easy paths, and the percentage of people who make it and make a living at it, very few. So the other life dream was to own my own retail store. Now it started as own my own record store. So right out of high school, like my first job, I was a key holder, then assistant manager, and then store manager. Like in a year, I moved into a store manager position right out of high school at a Camelot Music. So Camelot used to be like a mall chain. So you'd go and get your CDs. There was Music Land, there was Camelot, there was Disc Jockey. They all eventually got bought out by the same company, Trans World Entertainment, and they rebranded them all to FYE. For your entertainment. So there's still those out and around. There's one up in Lakewood. I think that's the only one in Colorado, but you get out to the East Coast, there's a lot more of them.
Yeah, it's good to see those. Man.
Yeah, in Ohio, because I think Ohio is where they're based out of, or it was when I was working there anyway, Trans World. So yeah, right out of high school, I was doing kind of my dream job. But that dream job was making me $20,000 a year as a store manager, working a minimum 44 hours. And corporations have a way of sucking all the fun out of everything, telling you what you can and can't carry, how you can and can't dress. The dress codes, you're supposed to be in a record store, but no piercings, no hairstyles, colors. And I'm like, yeah, you're at a freaking music store, Yeah, like, why we gotta look all clean cut for a music store,
True.
And the money just wasn't in it. And they're closing up more stores than they're opening, obviously, because when I was doing that was right there in the Napster boom. People were getting high-speed internet, high speed of 56K modems, and they were downloading their songs, ripping them onto CDs, and buying less albums. So the company's looking to close more and more stores, and they closed mine in Oklahoma. They actually transferred me to Amarillo, Texas. So I'd always want to open my own record store, but I'm seeing these corporate stores like close store after store after store, right? And I'm like, boy, record store, that's not really something I want to, I don't want to go in and fail. It's probably looking like the wrong time to do something like that anyway. So kind of lost the dream. But even, because I was just a fan of music, buying records, CDs, and would always visit stores. And I hung out with my uncle a lot when I was a kid, and we were real close at a certain point in my life. And we would talk about, like, getting this like downtown empty warehouse space and turn it into a record store, and we'd have all these different ideas and concepts and such. This is when I'm like 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, hanging out with him. And I go in, and in my life by this point, I'm managing the record store, I'm married, I own a home, I've got my first kid. So moved to Amarillo and run the FYE there for like 3 months. and it's just hell, man. I lost my boss. That was the one rooting for me. I had some turnover and lack of the company wanting to do anything to help me. I'm just supposed to manage the store, train a new staff, and find key holders to replace. You know, I'm there 7 days a week trying to keep the store operational. I'm the only key holder. I don't have time to go recruit talent and that kind of stuff, you know. But yeah, they don't want to send any type of help or teach a guy. I'm like, dude, I'm like 23, 24 years old. Dude, I'm like still learning my way. And they're just like, well, just go manage, go do it. And I look back on that and I'm like, man, I was just a fucking kid. And they're just like, nah, you'll manage. I'm like, man, they didn't treat me well.
I feel you.
Which is going to be, it's going to come back and we're going to talk about they didn't care about me.
Yeah, I feel you on this one. I don't think corporations do, truly,
No.
man. They just...
No, they care about the dollar, they care about the number, they care about the shareholder, they care about the store opening and closing on time, and the money coming in, and the bank deposit being ran.
Yeah.
They don't care who does it.
They really don't.
Yeah. So in that time, I ended up being recruited by the Disney store.
Okay.
So I went and worked for the Disney store for a couple of years, and I'd taken on a part-time job in the past at KB Toys, but this got me more in like a toy store environment, learning about how to section things off, how to look at how much space you're allocating to different products. If 14% of your sales are girl clothing, then 14% of your space should be allocated to girl clothing, because if it's 14% of your sales and you've only got like 5% of your space allocated to it, dude, if you open it up more, you might be missing sales. You could make more on that, open that up more, and you might be spending way too much space on something you're not selling. So you might have something where it's 5% of sales and you got 20% of your space allocated. Dude, you need to take 3/4 of your space out of there. So I learned things like that, and in a toy and kid and fun and interactive environment. Okay? So I had the record store background, the entertainment, for your entertainment, we turned into that. It was music, movies, video games, a little bit of electronics here and there. They started getting into like low-end electronics. So that was kind of my background. Then I went in and moved to Illinois and ran a bookstore chain up there. Did that for like 6-7 years. Transferred to Colorado Springs to take over like one of the like mega stores, new high traffic, high square footage concept stores. It was like 3 times the size of one of the regular stores. They were trying to go in a little deeper on product, and they sent me out to manage that. And it was all in an attempt to become a district manager. So in the district manager world, then I'm using my departmental stuff. I'm learning about product and who's looking for what and what to keep and how often you turn the product, that kind of stuff. But I also, as the district manager, learned about real estate and costs and profitability and how to write a P&L. I mean, I did some of that stuff as a store manager too, but you did a lot more of that as a district manager because you're looking more at the profitability, or well, you should be, but that company was circling a drain by the time I was leaving. I left that bookstore chain, and 2.5 weeks later, they they announced their closure. It could be said they couldn't last 2.5 weeks without me, and they just closed up. But I don't think I was that instrumental in the business.
I mean, it's just, if anything, it's like you were removed from that situation before it got worse. So that's
I had 17 stores, and I had one of them made profit the last year I was there.
Yeah.
When you got 16 out of 17 stores losing money, that ain't a good thing.
Nah, truly.
Because that ain't just in my market.
Yeah, nah, truly.
So then I go to the mattress spot. And in the mattress spot, I learn about home shows, setting up, day events. I learn more about sales and how people work and when people are coming in, how to interact and how to read people, which, you know, some of that has to be kind of naturally part of something you do, but, you know, put it to practice more, learning more about it, the psychology. So that's kind of the resume up to this point. So, a few years into the job at the mattress spot, I had this boss that always wanted to treat everybody like they were an idiot, like they were a rookie, like they don't know what they're doing. And I'm like, dude, I got like 25 years in on this job, right? Like, I've been a district manager, I've been a store manager, and here's this district manager who's never been a store manager telling me how to run my store, and really just being overbearing about it, micromanaging about it, like, go, like, why are you spending your time when somebody's got this much time into the job? When you got younger people into the job, go train them. Like, use me to help train people. Don't, like, I don't know. She just wanted to ride my butt about things when things weren't going well for the company. My store was fine. Like, we were down, but we were down, like, the same percentage the company was down.
Yeah, it wasn't no, like...
I was not, like, the problem child.
Yeah.
But she wanted to make me the problem
average.
child.
I was doing the average, what the whole company was doing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yep.
Gotta find a scapegoat.
Yeah, and it was all about doing things her way, but her way wasn't going to work. Her way wasn't going to turn the company around, because it's not like, you know, if everybody else in her district was doing it, I didn't see any difference between them and myself, or I actually saw more success in myself in my store than other stores, because I knew what I'm doing. I'm doing the things that matter. I get tired of working for her, and I decide I'm going to start this company. And I went back to what I'd always wanted to do. So, wanted to open a record store. Well, they open, they close. Comic book stores. Well, they open, they close. They go through too many trends of, like, records are big now. Comics are big for a little while. Action figures in this certain area. Or, you know, console release and everybody's wanting these games, but margin on games are so low and they don't last so long, and now people download the games and stream the games, and, you know, just the market changes so much. So I'd given up on this dream to open a store until I just literally could not work for this person anymore. Another company that just treated me like I didn't know what I was doing, like I was not there to work for them. They were just there to tell me, like, I show up every day trying to make money for this company because that makes money for myself, and all I've done is constantly being ran down.
I feel you.
Yep. So
I feel you.
I said enough. It was time, like, I'm gonna find another job, but then my wife's like, well, do you think it's going to be any better anywhere else? And I'm like, for a little while, then you get the different boss, or you get a wrong boss, or you know, you just have to comp yourself.
Not
and what have you done for me lately? Oh, well, hey, you know, I brought this store up 30%. Oh, now I've got a bad year 3 years in, but, like, I've never had a bad year like before I got here. Like, all of that's reality.
Yeah.
And I just, I can't put up with that anymore, being talked down to about something that I know so well.
Yeah, man, I mean,
I know what I'm doing, don't talk down to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, that's I feel like the corporations got a funny way of doing stuff like that.
So I took my knowledge of home shows and applied it to these Comic Cons, and I started setting up anywhere it would have me, whether it was a toy show or a dispensary on 420 that would let me pop up a shop in there and sell some weed pens and stickers and that kind of stuff. Set up at wrestling shows in the back of the spot. Would rent a table and sell some merchandise. Always looking for a way to get the name out there, make some connections, and sell the stuff that I was finding. So I'd go out and I'd max out my business credit card, open up a business, an S Corp. I got a business credit card, and I went out and I maxed it out, buying cheap stuff at thrift stores. So I'd find undervalued things that were going to fit my brand. And when it came time to figure out the brand, like, all right, so like, if all these things like video game stores come and go, comic book stores come and go, record stores come and go, what if I was a little bit of all of it?
Yeah,
What if I was just kind of a throwback store? The things that people are kind of nerdy about, things that I'm into. I'm into video games, I'm into comic books, I'm into movies, I'm into music. And I collect all that stuff. I collect toys, wrestling stuff. And then, you know, I'm not into anime, manga, but people are, so, you know, people are nerdy about it, so I try to carry some of that stuff, and I would find this stuff, and I would take it to these shows. And then I found a vendor who made these little enamel pins, and I'd buy those and sell them at shows. And I'd start selling a bunch of these pins. I could take a cork board full of pins, take up very little space, make a lot of money, pay for my rent off of pins alone, and then sell other stuff to make profit. And eventually I had so much stuff that, like, I was bursting out of my basement where I did mail order, and I got a storage unit, and it was time. Like, I was at the Chapel Hills Mall, and there was this, like, thrift house, like, house collective thrift shop kind of thing, and they had vintage stuff, like, kind of what I wanted to do, but heavier on clothes, less on media.
But shouts out to House Collective. I actually know the dudes that do that shop. Mad cool. Definitely go shop there if you looking for anything. Quick plug. So.
So I talked to him about putting some of my product in there at a Christmas time to try to, you know, maybe on consignment or something. If it sells, then, you know, we'd split some costs. And wasn't really what they were doing. Didn't really have the space for it, but he was telling me about how much rent was at the mall. And I started looking at the spot and how much it was based on, you know, like, okay, so if I'm doing this much online and at shows without the business, I can pay the rent. Can I figure out how to open it like 5-6 days a week? Found some friends, people who used to work for me, people who still work with me, myself, my wife. We were able to manage opening it. Went through the Christmas season, you know, done some shifts, some changes, some different products, and, you know, just kind of learning what works and what doesn't. But, you know, we've been here almost 8 months, 5 days away from 8 months as a business in the Citadel Mall.
It's a big feat,
so now we carry what you're nerdy about. So we carry some music. So, you know, most of the stuff that I carry is stuff that I find at thrift stores, record conventions that's underpriced, undervalued, so that, you know, if I can find it for $15 and it's worth $25, then I can make $10. But I got to invest a lot of money in that product, and I got to know my values and how much it's going to sell for, and is it going to stay at that value? How fast is it going to sell? And, you know, so I'll just, now I got customers that, you know, you can bring stuff to me and I'll buy it. So everything that I get, I don't order, though. There's one company that I found that you can clear out warehouses of, like, records that are going out of print, overstock, basically. But not all of it's good records. I try to cherry pick the good ones. And, you know, Target, they'll clearance their stuff out, and I'll find their end caps. I'll find some new stuff that way, try to bring some things in. But one of the next moves I do want to make is carrying some new vinyl. So hopefully, you know, before the end of the year, I can make that happen, or, you know, if it has to be 2027. But it's one of the next moves I want to make. We carry comics. I've always been a comic book guy. Again, not new comics. Probably never get into new comics. That you really have to be a dedicated comic book store to do that well, and that's just not what we're here to do. But we carry all kinds of vintage retro comics and the collectibles that go with them, so the toys and plush and some art. That stuff doesn't do all that well, so I don't carry a lot of it. But most of the toys, the comics, the graphic novels, yeah, the pens are a big thing here. Any Back to the Future merchandise, we'll have it throughout the store, but especially movies. You know, you can even see kind of behind Joe's head some DVDs, VHS tapes, you know, movies of all media, VHS, Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray 4K. We've got all of that. I've even got a couple of beta cassettes up in here. So, yeah, music. I got 8 tracks and cassettes, and again, we got Outcast action figures. Man, you didn't know you needed Eric B. and Rakim toys, but we've got them here.
You need them.
Video games. So again, nothing new, but retro. What I can find. You know, all your systems, all the way up. You know, back to Atari, up to PS5.
Everything. So many games.
Wrestling stuff, whether it's title belts or media, like to watch old matches, toys, magazines, books, Funko Pops, banners, flags. We got banners and flags and all kinds of stuff. Everything. Lots of Fallout stuff. Toy lines like Transformers, G.I. Joe, Barbie, Masters of the Universe. Again, we're not a 80s store, we're not a 90s store, we're not an everything store. We're what are you nerdy about, and we carry a little bit of everything. So it's more about the discovery versus coming in to find that specific something. So you know, the specific somethings are some of the new release titles that I get imported, different Blu-rays that are region free, stuff that in the States you can usually only find on streaming. I've got a way to be able to get you hooked up on physical media. You know, that's some new stuff that I get, new releases from Funko, you know, like K-Pop Demon Hunter. I've got the vinyl record, I've got Funko Pops here and other things on order. So there's always, you know, there's always new stuff and a mix of old stuff. You know, just trying to have something cool. So, you know, there's all kinds of plans and where I want to go and what we will do. Sometimes we have live music. Sometimes, you know, mostly been Fonte. You know, got some other things in the works for live music in our store. I love that element when we can do that. The event days where we can do like, you know, game tournaments and family game days for video games. I don't have board game space in this little tiny spot. But yeah, I mean, there's all types of events that we want to do going forward. So it's a growth process. You know, you want to do everything at once, and then you have people come to your shop and you don't have this or that, and you're like, yeah, it's in the works. But, you know, I can't feel bad about what's to come. I've come a long way. I still feel bad about like, oh, no, not yet. I want to get there. But, you know, hey, I've come a long way, and in time we'll get there.
Time.
But yeah, last you know, March 2nd, you know, so here we are in April. You know, March I got to quit my job at the mattress spot. We were able to make this my full-time job, and this is what I do to put food on the table, pay the mortgage, and take care of the family and the bills that keep coming in.
Yeah, man. How does it feel to do that?
It's extremely stressful, but wonderful. It's nice to not have any boss except for my customers and serving them.
It's real. I feel that, man. It's a nice journey, man. I feel you a lot with the going through retail. Just kind of, I feel you with that.
Yep.
A lot. So, but it's
Yep.
nice, man. It's like
People only care about their job, getting their job done that they got to do, and man, yeah, they'll step on you to get their jobs done. So
truly.
there's a way to take care of myself, take care of my family, do cool things for the community. Some of the events that I've done, and some of them that I want to do are community events that I've got. Yeah, very much community driven events that I've got thinking up. So yeah,
It's gonna be exciting.
so if you haven't been in, you guys come check us out. Citadel Mall. We're in Colorado Springs. We're downstairs from the food court. We're closed on Wednesdays, open 11 to 8 every other day, but Sunday we close at 6. Come check us out. Let us know what you're nerdy about.
Chris the king of nerds. Pro wrestling he swerves, that's the moves he serves. Living in the universe, ring the bell, he's there. With that passionate flair,